The Christmas season is the most wonderful time of the year. All the candy, presents, the decorations, and Santa Claus, the jolly old elf that brings gifts to all the good boys and girls of the world, with his big belly and red suit. I used to love this time of year, but you will soon read why that has changed. I was 11 years old, and it was the 1st of December. I laid in bed as my mother scolded me about something I had done that day, and she ended with the cliché, "You're getting coal and switches for Christmas this year." As I drifted off to sleep, thought to myself, if she thought I was bad today, she has another thing coming. I was awakened in the middle of the night by the sounds of heavy breathing, so, as most children would do, I hid under the covers. Then I heard a raspy voice say, "Hello, naughty boy. I've come to take you far away. There is nothing you can do or say. There is no need to scream and no need to fight, because one way or another, you are going with me tonight." It ripped away the covers and stood, a monster of a creature with twisted giant black horns and draped with an old grotesque crimson coat. His face looked of old, dry leather, with hollow eyes and long, crooked teeth. Next thing I know, it shoved me in a basket with other children, then everything went black. When I came to, I was freezing cold with others around me sobbing. We were in a makeshift cage. There must have been 30 other kids besides me. Everyone was confused and scared. Then the creature came into the room, unlocked the cell, and snatched one of the other children. And as he did, he snarled, "The bad for the good. It's all about sacrifice, you see. The sins are delicious, and you will all feed me." And just like that, he sunk his teeth into his victim, and as he wailed in pain, the creature left with him. Throughout the days, the monster would send these little creatures in for the next victim. You could see the sorrow in their eyes as they carried out his work. From time to time, the monster would come in to hand-pick his next meal, and every time he did, he was a little fatter, and his hair began to grow. It was almost as if we were witnesses to the dead coming back to life. It started out with one child every couple of days, then to one a day, and now he would take 2 or 3 at a time. We made our plans and tried to escape, but to no avail, and the days drug on, and I was the last child left in the cage, and I knew that today would be the day the creature would eat me. It had been a while since he himself had come to collect his meal, and I could only imagine what he looked like now. Visions of the monster with his grotesque grin spun around in my head. Then I heard the now familiar sound of the lock opening and saw him walk in. I knew my time had come, and I would be the next meal for the monster. As he approached me, I noticed something was different. His beard was full, and his cheeks were merry. The coat that once was way too big fit him perfectly. He was fat and happy. He looked like a jolly old man, not threatening at all. But then he spoke. "It's Christmas Eve, child. There is no need to be frightened." I cried out in anger. "What kind of monster are you?" "Santa Claus," he chuckled. He saw the look of confusion on my face, and he laughed his deep, guttural laugh and began to speak. "It's all about sacrifice. It's simple to see. I take the bad and reward the good, and it pleases me. I'm Krampus to the bad, but Santa to the good. This part of my life is misunderstood." It made sense to me now. I had always wondered how a man living in the North Pole stayed so full and healthy with no vegetation or any other source of food. He smiled at my realization and said, "December is my month, my time to thrive, and I bet you are wondering why you are still alive." I nodded as he bent down and he removed his hat. The horns shone bright. Every year I do this. Every year it's the same. Every year I release one, so the world will remember my name." I looked at him puzzled, and he picked up on my confusion and continued. "The reason I live, the reason I survive, is that all the children believe I am alive. All the other old gods like me have gone out of existence and ceased to be. The world forgot who they are, but not old Santa Claus, not so far. You will tell your story, you will tell your tale. Though many won't believe, some of them will." I passed out and woke up on my front porch. I beat and beat on the door with all my might, and my parents came down. We were united again. I told them what happened, but just like Santa said, though many won't believe you, some of them will. The only part they seemed to believe was I was with Santa. They forgot about him looking like a monster or eating children, so the spirit of Christmas lives on. The only reason I'm writing this after all these years is because my neighbor's little boy was taken last night from his bed, and that little feller had been a holy terror all year. He didn't heed my warnings, no matter how sincere they were. I did all I could for him, but boys will be boys, and he will answer for it, I'm afraid. I'll leave you with this. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. His mouth waters when you've been bad. So be good, for God's sakes, because he is coming to town.